Hi, my name is Natalia. Here on this channel, I'm exploring the methodology of achieving native-like fluency, and I teach a self-study, exploratory practice approach to learning the English language. Let's talk about writing. This is part 2. In the first part of this video, I was talking about the importance of establishing a writing routine in the English language and the importance of developing your writing fluency and your writing skills in English. And in this part of the video, I want to talk to those people who already write in the English language, who already speak very fluently, who are already advanced according to many certificates and tests that they have taken. But they need more, and they want more, and they're looking for ways to continuously improve their language skills. If you're also not a native speaker, just like myself, and you're looking for interesting ideas, tips, inspiration, people who can inspire you, methods that can help you learn the English language better, I hope this video is going to be useful and helpful, because I want to explore this together with you. And in this video, I simply want to share my thoughts and my findings. So what do you do after you have learned to A, look at your own thought process in writing, and B, edit your thought process in writing, and C, after you have learned to complete the exercise, which means you know how to go from a very messy, ugly draft that rather reads like a translation to a beautiful, coherent text that native speakers will read, and they will not even know that the text was written by not a native speaker. What do you do next? Yes, you can build correct sentences in English. You can choose the right words. You can build paragraphs. You can create correct sentences. That's the purpose of the first exercise. And you are now comfortable with your own thought process. You're comfortable with looking at yourself. You are aware of how you think, and you're not distracted, disappointed, and you're not overwhelmed by your mistakes. You know that your mistakes are a great opportunity to correct your existing patterns and to unlearn the things that don't serve you anymore. You use every mistake as an opportunity to advance your communication skills and your English skills. But what do you do next? If your ambition is higher and if you just don't see the point in stopping, what do you do next? Here is what I do for myself, and I just wanted to share this advice with people who are also looking for advice, for tips, for ideas. I believe that at this stage, when you have already learned to work with your own thought process, with your own texts, you need to start looking for better examples, and you need to start learning from native speakers who also invest in developing their writing skills. We want to do more advanced exercises, and by more advanced exercises here, I mean following writing communities for native speakers, actually, and learning from people who are learning to write better, learning from people who are really seriously working on enhancing and honing their writing skills. And they need to be native speakers, because this is where you have to be very attentive, and this is where you will really learn to sound differently. At this stage, we want to develop our writing voice, and we already know what is correct and what is incorrect, and we already know how to correct the things that are not correct. But what we want is we want to learn to speak right to people's hearts. We want to say one sentence that will plant a dozen of images in people's heads, and we want to send one image that will unfold in their minds and communicate the gist of what we mean to say. Good writing, I would say, good writing feels like music to me. It flows like music, and I never want to stop. And it gives me direction, and it gives direction to my own thought process. It's not like I read it and I follow the advice precisely, or I immediately identify myself with the character, with whatever is written there. But I feel how a good piece of writing, a good passage, a well-articulated idea will give the right direction to my own thought. If I have a lot of thoughts about something and they're just bumping into each other because they can't find a way out, and it feels like, they're trying to find a way out from a labyrinth of a lot of confusing thoughts. And one good passage can shed light on the exit. And I see the exit, and this thought now knows where to go. And I believe that everything we say is simply, it's magic. What we say with the words is simply how we unpack our thoughts. Because a thought is primary. But what people hear is not our thoughts, but our words. We need to unpack the thoughts and we need to package them in words. People read not just our words, but people read what we intentionally packaged in the words. So we're basically exchanging thoughts and ideas. Words is just how we shape them. What exactly do I mean by doing more advanced exercises? Watch line editing videos where native speakers who write very well, and probably people who teach other people to write, they do some line editing in real time, or talk to editors, look at their work process. How do they even do that? I can recommend the YouTube channel Shailene Writes, and you can check out her line editing videos. It's not like she gives you precise advice. She doesn't teach you what exactly you need to be doing with your sentences and with your text. But when you watch how her mind works and what she chooses to edit and what she chooses to remove, cut, or add to the sentences of other people who actually want her to edit their writing, you can learn so much about how you can communicate your ideas better. You can learn so much about how other people see and perceive your writing, and how other people read what you think you said, but you can find out that people end up reading not what you think you wrote, but what they can see. And it's just a fascinating process. So Shailene Writes, you can find a lot of interesting YouTube videos on her channel. Another thing I can recommend is start listening to podcasts that are devoted to helping people develop their writing skills. I believe Writing with No Excuses, that's the name, or Writing Excuses, I think that's the name of the podcast. And check out other podcasts that are out there. I'm going to include some of them here on the screen. You can see them. They are designed for people who write. You will hear a lot of good examples. And what is amazing about podcasts is that you don't just work with the written word, you also get to hear how native speakers read their own work, or sometimes you will hear how they read other people's work, and sometimes famous classical books. And you can learn to synchronize your listening skills, your understanding skills, and your skills to visualize ideas and to put them down in writing. This is amazing because we don't want just to learn to articulate our thoughts in writing. We also want to learn to hear how our thoughts that we have articulated in writing sound when other people read them. This is amazing. So this is another exercise I recommend you should do if you want to dive into a world of more advanced examples and just a lot better examples. The third exercise is reading fiction. I do not only mean reading classic books, I also mean reading modern fiction, modern short stories, and getting to know those people who are our contemporaries, people who are learning to write short stories, people who already write novels, short stories. They're all around us. There are so many websites where these people hang out, where these people share the fruit of their work with like-minded people, with people who also write, with people who are also looking for better ways to explain their ideas. Become a reader, become a fan, a supporter. Share what you think. Help them understand if the story is hard. Help them understand if their story makes sense to you. Read their stories, give them feedback, communicate. You're going to learn so much. But of course, if you read classics, there are some fiction books that are a must read, especially for us, for non-native speakers. If you want to understand how native speakers think, you got to dive deeper into their world, and you have to understand where all these ideas come from. All the ideas are essential in their world, and that are the building blocks for the language, actually, and for the culture. Maybe we might be talking about American culture or British culture, or a more universal English-speaking culture that we all are influenced by today, because we all listen to English songs, we all watch Hollywood movies, we're influenced by it, even if we don't want to admit it. But some characters, some concepts, some ideas come from that world of fiction. And many, many native speakers absorbed all these images and concepts early on, when they were very young. If we don't understand what they were reading growing up, we can't really fully understand them. We also have to remember that reading fiction, helps us understand human character. And I believe, at least in my world, native-like fluency doesn't really mean talking about topics that are listed in a textbook. Usually when we read the description of any language course, or usually when we read the promises that are out there for those students who are planning to take a language course, we see that students will be able to converse using this many words, 7,000 words, 5,000 words. Students will be able to communicate on the following topics: space, traveling in time, cooking, socializing, anyways, whatever it is. And whatever those topics are, it's just a collection, a very limited collection of topics that somebody thinks is essential for us to learn in order to communicate with the world and with other people. It has never been enough for me, never. I open Unit 6 in any textbook and it says traveling to space, and I immediately close it. I am not interested in learning all those words. I am not interested in reading all those dialects. I am simply not interested. And if the conversations are boring and I understand that I'm never going to apply it in my life, what's the point if I can learn the same grammar and maybe even better vocabulary if I actually focus on the topics that do interest me, that fascinate me, that can keep me awake for hours? The point I'm trying to make is that native-like fluency means you can talk about whatever your heart desires and whatever you believe is important. It can be anything, but for the most part, it's what we feel and whatever is happening inside our own head. I don't believe any language speaker wants to masterfully talk about their school experience, their vacation, their shopping experience. It's too simple. They already know how to do that. But it gets really complicated, and this is where you feel that you're lacking vocabulary when you want to create meaningful connections with people. Meaningful connections. Not just conversations with strangers about the weather, about why Americans like peanut butter sandwiches, about traveling, about all those topics we have already talked about a million times with all the other people, and probably we feel confident talking about them again because we've done it before. But when we experience something for the first time, when we feel something for other people, when something is exploding inside of us and we feel the need to communicate it to other people, when we just can't find the words to communicate our experience or our realization or some ideas that struck us and showed us a different universe, or showed us the answers to the questions we've been longing to answer for years, or to find answers to those questions. This is when it gets complicated, and this is when it feels advanced. When you try to make friends with people, when maybe you can relate to that experience to somebody you know, when you are in a romantic relationship with a person whose first language is different from yours. You start communicating, you have a connection, it's interesting to be together, but at some point you want to exchange thoughts, experiences, realizations, insights, and you want this connection to get deeper. And if you're lacking not just vocabulary, it's not really about vocabulary, it's about communication skills. If you're lacking the skill to communicate your own feelings in another language, not because you can't, but probably because you've never practiced that, and probably because you've never paid attention to that, this is when it gets tricky and you feel that it's a huge roadblock to building meaningful connections with people. And the first person you want to build meaningful connections with is yourself. At least for me, it's very important to articulate for myself, what is it that I'm feeling? What is it that I'm going through? What is it that I have learned? So I was saying that reading fiction helps you surround yourself with a bunch of great examples, outstanding examples. Some passages are mesmerizing. You just want to read them again and again. When you dive into the sea of such good examples, you simply learn that your toolbox is not enough. And you learn that it's very limited, and it makes sense to step outside of your own experiences and, go and collect words and word combinations and ideas and metaphors and sayings and anything that can help you speak better, anything that can help you think clearer, anything that can help you communicate your own ideas with clarity and precision. Read fiction. And the fourth exercise I wanted to mention in this video is writing creative nonfiction. I mean writing memoirs and journaling. Both of these genres or exercises are in the creative writing category. When you do creative writing exercises, you are helping yourself a great deal. You're helping yourself develop your voice. You're helping yourself understand yourself and articulating your own thoughts in English. Again, it's just another great exercise for achieving mental clarity and for getting this sense of accomplishment from your practice routine, because journaling to me is daily practice routine. If you write something daily in English, it doesn't have to be a whole paragraph, it doesn't have to be a page. Sometimes it can be a couple of sentences, a summary of your day. What is that you remember the most about today? What surprised you the most about today? What was the most interesting thing about today? What did you tell yourself today? What did you learn today? You may choose to answer one of those questions to ease into that exercise of writing daily, because I believe writing a page every day or writing a meaningful paragraph every day can be too much for many people, because we have other things to do in our day. We have jobs, we have families, and writing a solid piece of text takes time. But journaling is rather contemplating in writing. And by contemplating, I mean helping yourself figure out what is it that you have gone through today? What is it that you have experienced today? You are learning to clearly and eloquently articulate your thoughts. You're learning to find the right vocabulary, and you're learning to be precise. If you only can write one or two sentences, you need to find precise wording to express what you felt or to express what you feel like you want to express. Instead of saying 5 or 10 sentences and never getting to the point of what it is that you felt today, you want to teach yourself to say it in 1 or maximum 2 sentences. And that is an interesting exercise. If you've never done it before, you will not write a very precise sentence or a very precise paragraph the first time you sit down to try, but it's definitely worth trying. Any creative writing exercises will be a great addition to your existing practice routine. If you have tried it, but you've never tried it consistently, you've never done it consistently, you don't really know how beneficial that can be. Google creative writing exercises. You will find so many ideas, and I'm sure some of them will inspire you to write more and to write something that you've never written before. However, writing a memoir and journaling are the ones that I can relate to more, because as I said previously, it's important for me to learn to articulate what is happening in my mind in English and to other people, and to make sure that other people can hear the message and understand what I mean, and they can relate to what I'm saying, and what I'm saying resonates with them, and we can be on the same page. And when they speak, I can learn about their experiences from their experiences, and knowing that they understand what I say when I say something and what I mean. This helps me understand that we're both working toward creating this meaningful connection. Writing about other things, fantasizing about other things. Like, there are a lot of creative writing exercises that go like, what if? Or develop a character, or take a random noun and write about it. Yes, that's all fine. These are all fun, amazing, interesting exercises that will help you discover so many things about yourself that you were not aware about. And I do them as well. I'm just saying that these two are my favorite, because they help me understand myself and they help me learn more about myself. If you have never tried, try them out. And these exercises are truly advanced. So if you're serious about improving your writing skills in English, this is probably what you should try doing. Because if you do, you will sharpen your thinking, you will learn to focus better, you will develop your own writing voice, you will acquire so much more good vocabulary, and most importantly, you will learn to use it, to apply it, to play around, to play with your vocabulary. You will learn to play with words, you will learn to use them in their figurative sense. You will learn to communicate the meaning beyond the words. You will learn to read between the lines yourself, and you will learn to communicate a lot of context when you say words and sentences, paragraphs, and other people will be able to read between the lines when they read your words and your sentences and your paragraphs. Let me know if you have tried any of the exercises I have mentioned today. Maybe you have and they didn't work for you. Maybe you have tried them and they are working for you, and this is why you're consistent with them. I would love to hear from you. Maybe you know other great exercises that can help you, and not only you, all of us, develop better writing skills and better writing fluency. And most importantly, can you relate to my reasoning, to the reason why I believe we should be doing all these exercises? This video was supposed to be for those people who are already advanced and those people who just need a little more inspiration to go out into this world of unknown and try and give it a try, because it looks simple. It sounds silly even, you know, like, really, do I start writing a memoir? Who's gonna read that, you know? And I already speak good English. I already can write in good English, so who needs to read my memoir? Do I even need to write a memoir? But trust me, do not write it for the audience. It's not like you're writing it for someone to audit your writing or someone to judge your writing. I do it to give feedback to myself. I do it to learn more about myself and to track my own progress. And I enjoy reading it. And that's probably the most important thing. I enjoy reading it because I like editing my own life experience, and I like reminding myself of what I have actually experienced and what I have learned. When I read my works from a few months ago, from a few years ago, it feels like I'm putting the pieces of a puzzle together, and this puzzle is myself, my personality, and I see my own growth and my own development. And this is fascinating. I also see how my language skills are changing. I hope you can relate. I hope you are going to try some of the exercises. Let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you in the next videos. Thanks for watching.